All right, so I'm going to look at a few questions here where we're asked to get the equation of a circle, but they don't make it as easy for us as they have when they gave us both the center and the radius. So if they give us the center and the radius, it's just a matter of plugging them into the equation of a circle formula that either it's the x squared plus y squared equals r squared if the center is 0, 0, or we sub it into this if the center is anything else. But sometimes it'll make it a little bit harder for us, so we'll need to do a little bit of work either to get the radius or to figure out the center or both. All right, so first example over here, find the equation of a circle containing the point 3, 2 that has center 0, 0. So the equation of this is going to be in the form x squared plus y squared equals some number. All right. The issue is that number is the radius squared, and I don't know the radius. I'm not given that information in the question. But if I sketch this real quickly, what are they telling me? They're telling me that the center of this circle is 0, 0. And they're telling me that the point 3, 2 is on the circle. So it contains that point. Well, if I connect the center and the circle, what's that line? It's the radius. Okay, so if I get the length between 0, 0 and 3, 2, I have the radius, and then I'm able to get the equation of the circle. So there's just a little bit more work to do before I can use my x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So I need to get the length of the radius, the length of a line from 0, 0 to 3, 2. How do I get the length of a line? Well, I've got this length or distance formula here on page 18 of the log tables. All right, so distance or length is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So that's equal to the square root of, if I call, so my 2 points are 0, 0 and 3, 2. So if I call 0, 0 x1 y1, and I call 3, 2 x2 y2, and then sub in. So it is x2 minus x1, so 3 minus 0 squared plus y2 minus y1, so 2 minus 0 squared. So that's equal to the square root of 3 squared plus 2 squared, so that's the square root of 9 plus 16, square root of 25, so that's equal to 5. Okay, so the distance from 0, 0 to 3, 2 is 5. So the length of my radius there is 5. All right, so now I can use the equation of the circle, which is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. And remember, I can use this kind of simple version of the left hand side because my center is 0, 0, so it is just x squared plus y squared on the left hand side equals my radius squared, so that is 5 squared. So x squared plus y squared equals 25. And there's your answer. All right, so up until now, I would have been told the center is 0, 0 and told the radius was 5, and I would have just started here. Now I need to do that little bit more work to get the radius, okay? So if it's not obvious to you what you're being asked to do at the start of the question, maybe draw a quick sketch and then it might become that little bit clearer. All right, so next example then is very similar. So find the equation of a circle with center minus 1, 4 that passes through the point 5, minus 6. So again, I'm given the center. It's not 0, 0. So I'm going to be using this x minus h formula. But on the right hand side of this formula is the radius. I'm not given the radius here again, so I'm going to end up doing the same thing, but let's just draw a quick sketch of it anyway. So my my center is minus 1, 4. And I'm told minus 5, 6 is on the circle. You don't need to draw this diagram. It doesn't need to be accurate in any way. It's just kind of showing you how you might work it through if it doesn't occur to you straight away when you're asked the question. So there's my center. There's the point that the circle passes through. So that means that point is on the circle. So again, I'm looking for the distance between these 2 points because that's going to give me my radius. All right, so my points are minus 1, 4 and minus 5, 6. I'm going to find the distance between those. All right, so it's distance formula again. So x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared equals, so I'll call this x1, y1, I'll call this x2, y2. So x2 minus x1 to be squared, so that is 5 minus minus 1. Squares, just be careful there. So it's x2 minus x1. So x2 is 5. And then it's minus in the formula. And then x1 is negative as well. So you're going to end up with a double negative there. So watch out for those with a couple of these equation of the line form, or sorry, a couple of these coordinate geometry of the line formulas may contain double negatives like that. All right. So plus y2 minus y1, so y2 is 6 minus 4 to be squared. So that's equal to the square root of, so this is 5 minus minus 1. 2 minuses together make a plus. So this is 5 plus 1, that's 6. So 6 squared plus 6 minus 4 is 2. So 2 squared. So that's equal to the square root of 36 plus 4. So that is the square root of 40. So just plug that into the calculator. So 2 root 10 is it in surd form. And unless it says anything about decimal points, I would probably just leave it there in surd form. Okay, it will be better in surd form for the next part of the question actually, rather than pressing change and rounding it off. All right, so I would leave it like that as 2 root 10. So that's my radius. So now I am ready to use my equation of the circle formula. So that's on page 19. So equation x minus h to be squared plus y minus k to be squared equals r squared. So you want an x and y in your equation of the circle. You're not going to sub in for x and y. It's h and k you sub in for. So it's x minus h. Okay, h is the x coordinate from the center. So that's going to be x minus, and then the h is minus 1 as well. So you're going to end up with a double negative again. Plus y minus k is the y coordinate of the center. So that's just 4. And that's equal to r squared. So the radius squared. So my radius is 2 root 10, and that's all to be squared. So first bracket here, x minus minus 1, 2 minuses together make a plus, so that's x plus 1 to be squared, plus, that should be squared there. There's no need to multiply anything out on this left hand side, so just leave that as y minus 4 to be squared. And on the right hand side here, just put that into your calculator. All right, so 2 root 10 all to be squared, and you get 40. All right, because if you think about it, I got the square root of 40 here, so I'm really undoing that by squaring it again, so you get equals 40. All right, so there's the equation. Hope your circle. All right, so minus 1, 4 is the center. So what ends up in my equation is plus 1 minus 4. So remember, your center and what goes in these brackets will end up having opposite signs. All right, and equals 40. But I had to do a bit of work to figure out my radius here rather than it being given to me. All right. Last example then I'm going to do like this is a little bit different. So the points 2, 4 and minus 4, 10 are the end points of a diameter of a circle. What is the equation of this circle? So if I just diagram that really quickly. So 2, 4, so let's say that's here, and minus 4, 10 are the end points of the diameter of a circle. Okay, so a diameter is a line that goes from one side of a circle to the other, going through the center. All right, so that's the situation I've got here. So I've got this line here forming a diameter. What initially appears difficult about this question is I'm not given either of the pieces of information I need to get the equation of the circle. I need the center and I need the radius, and I'm going to have to figure out both of them here. So first one, if I want to figure out the center, well, minus 410 over as far as 2, 4 is a diameter. So the center will be the midpoint of that line. All right. So if you have the end points of a diameter, if you get the midpoint of that line, you will get the center of the circle. All right. The midpoint of the line is another thing I've got a formula for. So midpoint formula is given here. All right. So my points are minus 4, 10, and that's x1, y1, and then 2, 4, and that's x2, y2. So midpoint is equal to x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. So that's equal to x1 plus x2. So that is 2 plus minus 4 over 2. y1 plus y2. So 10 plus, I did that the wrong way. I did 2 plus minus 4 instead of minus 4 plus 2, but it'll end up the same anyway. So y1 plus y2, 10 plus 4. Over 2. So just 2 plus minus 4 and then divided by 2. So 2 plus minus 4 is that divided by 2. So that is minus 1. And then 10 plus 4 is 14. Divided by 2 is 7. So there's the center of your circle. All right, and just to say, if I had done that the correct way around, the x1 plus x2 minus 4 plus 2 is minus 2 divided by 2. There's the minus 1 again. Just it doesn't really matter if I get the order wrong that way that time. So center is minus 1, 7. All right. Next thing I need to figure out is the radius. So I mean, you could get the distance from minus 4, 10 to 2, 4. That's a diameter, and then half it. But you know the center now is minus 1, 7. So just get the distance from minus 1, 7 to one of these points, and that's your radius. Doesn't matter which one you pick. Okay, so you can pick from minus 1, 7 to minus 4, 10, or you can pick from minus 1, 7 to 2, 4. Either one of those is going to be the same. Okay, the radius is going to be the same. So let's say I'm going to use minus 1, 7. And we'll go minus 4, 10. So that's x1, y1, that's x2, y2. So my distance here is equal to the square root of, so always write your formula down, x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So that's equal to x2 minus x1 to be squared. So that is minus 4 minus minus 1. To be squared. Okay, so there's a minus in the formula, and then that's minus as well. So I end up with a double minus there. Plus y2 minus y1, so that is 10 minus 7 to be squared. So that's equal to, I'll just put all this into a calculator, then what's under the bracket, so it is, or what's under the square root. So minus 4 minus negative 1, close your bracket, all to be squared, plus 10 minus 7, close your bracket, all to be squared, and that's equal to 18. Alright, so the first two examples are going to work that out step by step here. I'm just plugging everything under that square root into the calculator. So the square root of 18, is 3 root 2. Okay, so your radius then is 3 root 2. Alright, so I just went from there to there, and that's the radius. Alright, I would get the same answer going minus 1, 7 to 2, 4. Another approach would have been get the distance from minus 4, 10 to 2, 4, and then half it, and you would still get 3 root 2. Alright, so you're ready to use your equation formula now. So equation is x minus h to be squared plus y minus k to be squared equals r squared. So that is x, your center here is minus 1, so it's x minus minus 1 to be squared plus y minus k, then is the y coordinate of your center, so that's 7. And that's equal to the radius squared, so that's 3 root 2 all to be squared. And then we'll just tidy this up. So minus minus 1 is plus 1, so that's x plus 1 to be squared plus y minus 7 is just y minus 7 squared. There's no need to multiply those out on the left hand side, and then 3 root 2 squared is just 18. Alright, so there's the equation of the circle you were asked for. Alright, so it's given the end points of a diameter, so I needed to get the midpoint of that to get the center, the distance from the center to one of those points to get the radius, and then just kind of looking back at it, my center was minus 1 plus 7, so what ended up in the brackets was plus 1 minus 7. Yes, I expect the signs there to be opposite, and it was just equal to the radius squared, which ended up being 18. Alright, so it's finding the equation of a circle that we've done before, but as I said, there's just a little bit more work we need to do in the question to figure out the radius, or in this case to figure out both the radius and the center. But I think these questions kind of highlight the fact that there's a good bit of interaction on what comes up on the exam between coordinate geometry of the circle and what you know already from coordinate geometry of the line. So you would expect to be looking at page 18 and page 19, these log tables, if you do the circle question in the exam. All right.